why do you think you learned so much about running? It's not you liked it. You were interested in it. You had drive there. There was curiosity.
Right. I already knew that personally I liked running, and I liked the community, and I like working with runners. I mean, one of the things I love about runners is that they self-identify as
Oh
runners.
yeah.
It's like, I play basketball, or I am a runner.
Right.
It's this great community. And for me, working with a population that is motivating, that I enjoy, is a big, it's a must have. Actually, I can't, I need to work with people that appreciate. I'm going to put so much time and effort into your treatment. If you don't appreciate what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and if you're not willing to do it, then I'm not going to pour my life and soul into getting you better, which is the only way I really want to treat.
Yeah. So I'm not even done unpacking your superhero backstory either. But what you just said was sort of like it's like a business communications life psychology lesson, which is we're often taught, and we talked about this just briefly before we hit record, which is I think conventional wisdom would be everybody's your ideal customer, or like make them bend and shape yourself so you can help everybody. When the opposite is true, you know, if you're trying, if you, and there's a lot of pressure opening a business or becoming a physical therapist, right? Identifying as a physical therapist. I want to help as many people as I can. So I'm going to keep working to get to the yes. And I forget the author's name, but the author that I'm talking about, that I'm sure the audience will now correct me in the comments, because that's what happens when I forget, is maybe you should try to get to the no, or to try to find out why that person isn't a great fit as fast as possible, because the next person might be a great fit and a fit for both of you. And when it's a fit for both of you, how you're describing, great stuff happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. Understanding your ideal customer. We teach this in a course that for our technology users, provide marketing and business development support. And we have a worksheet that they go through. And when they're looking at it, they have to identify who their ideal customer is. And you need to get granular with this. You need to understand who
Deep.
that person is. What are their demographics? Where do they spend their time? What kind of things excite them? What are their objections to your services? And what are the things that are going to limit them from seeing you, so that you can really speak to that audience even better? And I think even like with that too, I think it starts with understanding a little bit of your why,
Oh, very
a little
much.
bit of like, why are
Very
you
much.
doing this? Before you can understand that person that's going to be your best customer, it's like, why do you do what you do?
Right. I was like 23 years old, and my boss, Chris Lloyd, at like the radio station I spent the most time at, was like, today we're going to do an exercise where we're going to design our ideal listener. And at a radio station, like that can be broad, right?
Oh yeah.
But I can still I can picture Keith. Keith was the person we gave a name to.
Yes.
We knew his wife. He had 2 kids. He went to high school in that area, left for college, but came back. We knew how much he made. Like, and I was like, this is goofy and dumb and cute. But we would pass in the hallway, and my boss would be like, "Hey, there's a chance that we do this with this company as a promotion. Like, what do you think?" And literally, we'd just be like, "I don't know, man. Do you think Keith would think that's cool?" Like, we literally started talking about
Yeah.
them like that, and it let us say, "It's almost cool, but what if you change this? I think Keith would like that more." And it made it easier because, as you said before, again, still unpacking Doug's backstory, which is, you said you're medium smart, but you like to simplify things. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Einstein said that if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it. So understanding it enough and being able to communicate it, even if it's to yourself first, that's a skill. That's a skill.
Yeah, that's I really enjoy breaking things down. That is like taking complex, breaking it down into the next steps. Because I think as clinicians, that's what we really need to do. And that's what a lot of
All the time.
people are intimidated about running gait. I think that people are afraid to address gait with somebody because they look at somebody and like, well, their arms are flailing, their knees are collapsing in, their toes are pointed out, all these things are happening. Like, I don't even know where to start, and I want to mess them up. But really, there's unintended benefits that if you focus and prioritize on the right thing, a lot of those other things are going to fall in line. And it doesn't have to be complex. Like this one, we talked a little bit before. We're not going to give any p-values or anything, but like
Right.
I love a lot of the running literature. But one of my favorite articles, I think it was Stuart Warden, JOSPT 2021. If you reduce the stress of each step with running by 10%, you can run twice as far.
Wow. See,
So
that's a statistic that someone can wrap their head around.
that is something that we as clinicians, when we always hear in school, like you got to stay up on the literature, you got to read this one, right? I'm more than a few years out of PT school. I still read all the articles and things like that. And that is something that's, it's so important to be able to synthesize that data and convey to your patient, how does this relate to you, right? Because even when we're talking about that ideal customer, and we think about their objections, right? So some of my ideal customers, they've done multiple races within the past 3 months, and they've got multiple races in the next 3 months, right? They're racing all the time. They're doing that. I know that they're into it, right? So that person might be afraid that they don't have time to change their gait, or
Right.
that they have to be too perfect with it, or I'll never have perfect running form. So why should I even start in the beginning? So giving a statistic like you only need to improve it 10%, 10% is nothing. Right. That's why there's a good bit of literature on, I think one of the most common things people think of with gait analysis is cadence manipulation. And we see that 10% with that is pretty achievable.